Good evening friends, Dr. Dan here again, this time coming at you to discuss the cholesterol conspiracy. So if you've ever wondered if your cholesterol is too high and if that could potentially cause an issue to your health, you'll want to be staying tuned for the next 5 minutes. So first of all, what is cholesterol? Most people have a bit of a hang up about cholesterol. They go get their blood tested, they get their LDL and their HDL. They come back and the doctor says, your cholesterol is way too high, we need to do something about it. Well, cholesterol is actually good for you. It's a necessary building block for a lot of different things in your body. In particular, certain hormones like testosterone, like estrogen, and basically all of those different types of vitamins. So it's a very important building block as a neurotransmitter. So if you didn't have any cholesterol in your body, you wouldn't be able to produce some of these neurotransmitters. So it is very important. Now, the issue really lied in the fact that about 30-40 years ago, someone called Ancel Keys was instrumental in bringing a big black cloud to cholesterol and all fats for that matter. Now, he hypothesized, he had this great study where he showed that the more fats that people ate, the greater the heart attack rates actually were. Unfortunately, he actually withheld a lot of data, and countries like the USA, Australia, which are rich on the standard Australian diet, those processed foods, high fats, high cholesterol, actually had higher heart attack rates. But he withheld the data, and the data that he withheld was that the Scandinavian countries, so Finland, Norway, you've also got Sweden, they actually had high fats, high cholesterol based diets, but also had low rates of heart attacks. Now, what happened was eggs, bacon, all those things that are potentially high in cholesterol got a really bad rap, and everyone was told, get off the cholesterol, reduce your cholesterol, it's very, very bad. Now, hopefully this video is going to share with you a little bit about cholesterol, its role in your body, but most importantly, get you to think about cholesterol is not bad, it's the form that cholesterol is in that's actually bad for you. Now, I brought along my artery, as you can see here, very small, and this is going to mimic what happens in the body. Now, what happens when we have foods like eggs, certain types of foods that are rich in potential cholesterol, your body will naturally equilibrate your own cholesterol level, and imagine this little ball here is a cholesterol. Now, what tends to happen is the cholesterol will go through the artery, and as you can see, it doesn't stick. So it actually just goes straight through the artery, okay? That's your LDL. Now, your HDL is known as your high density lipoproteins, and they're actually good because they actually get recycled throughout the body and then go back to the liver. The LDL is what we think is known as bad. But in actual fact, it's only the very small LDL, so the ones that have small spiky points that can lodge in the actual arterial lining, and it's the form that the LDL is in. Now let me explain. So as I showed you, that little cholesterol actually just zipped down the artery. Now what happens though is when we have high amounts of free radicals coursing through our veins because of the types of foods that we've eaten that are pro-inflammatory, you get the cholesterol that's going from that little soft ball as I showed you to this spiky little creature here. So the oxidized cholesterol no longer just goes straight down the artery, it actually sticks. And over time, you get a significant amount of this cholesterol sticking to the arterial wall. Now, as you can see there. Now the body does something amazing. What it does is it actually calls upon macrophages, which is your Pac-Men, and it goes in and tries to remove them. But what happens when we have a lot of basically inflammatory related foods that spark the inflammation and oxidation of your cholesterol, remember the oxidation is bad, the macrophages or the Pac-Men remove it and get rid of it. But then when you have too much, they actually get really tired. So they basically just sit there, they die, they form what's known as a foam cell, which literally foams up. And then you'll see that you basically get a big globule or big foam-based product streaking down your artery. Now, if that occurs over and over and over and over and over again, essentially you form plaque along with arterial calcification, which is another story. And then what happens when you least expect it, the plaque can basically rupture, which then results in a blockage leading to a stroke or a heart attack. And unfortunately, cholesterol is basically the, I guess you could say, being left holding the bags at the scene of the crime. It's not the main issue. The main issue is the oxidization of the cholesterol, which tends to occur before you've even had the cholesterol because of the foods that you eat, the toxins and the pesticides, which are causing inflammation in your body, and even the stress levels causing inflammation in your body. Now, what tends to happen when you go to a GP, you get put on a statin or a cholesterol-lowering drug. It's called a HMG-CoAce inhibitor. And 1 out of every 10 people, I believe, in Australia, around 10%, that's 2.1 million people, are on a statin, which is a cholesterol-lowering drug. In my next video, I'm not going to touch on it now, but my next video, I'm going to share with you why that's not great, and I highly recommend that if you go to the doctors and you have high cholesterol levels, don't focus on being put on a statin, and my next video will explain why. I'll explain a little bit about what you can do in terms of natural supplementation, and we'll go into depth as to how you can kind of circumvent getting on a cholesterol-lowering drug, because there's some real side effects that you should be aware of, and we need to educate ourselves as people so that when we go to our GP, if they do say get put on a cholesterol-lowering drug, we can say, hang on a minute, this probably is not the best mode of action for me, and maybe I might actually have to change some of my lifestyle or environment-based triggers. So stay tuned for next week when I explain a little bit about the cholesterol conspiracy in more detail, specifically talking about statins, what they do, why most people shouldn't be on them, and what type of supplementation and lifestyle changes you can implement that are actually really going to help you out so that you don't get all those side effects associated with cholesterol lowering drugs. Until next week, friends, have a happy and healthy week. Please feel free to like, comment, and share. If you've been put on a cholesterol lowering drug or if you've actually had any side effects, let's preempt what I'm about to explain next week and write it in your comments, and we can start some great conversation and great movement when it comes to educating ourselves on healthy lifestyle choices. But until next week, have a happy and healthy week. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.